water, bread, wine. In Jesus' day, like ours, these were all pretty common things. All over the planet, we use water to grow plants, nourish animals, clean ourselves and our possessions, and quench our thirst. And since 70% of the earth is covered in water,
fact,
we don't really think about water's importance until it's gone for a while. Several places in the United States right now are experiencing drought. Water is pretty important. So is bread. Every culture has a form of bread. Naan of Indian food, the Jewish challah bread, tortillas, the hot rolls ever present at Thanksgiving. We love bread. We can't get enough of it. We like it in all forms. Don't lie. You know you would eat your weight in chips and salsa right now if you had some. In fact, the word companion comes from a Latin word meaning one who shares bread.
Fact.
And wine has been with humanity almost from the beginning. Archaeologists have found wine in the mountains of Iran dating from 5400 BCE, over 7,000 years ago.
Fact.
Is it any wonder that these three common things are some of the most important symbols of the Christian faith? No wonder at all. In the Gospel of Mark, there are two scenes where Jesus participates in what we now call our sacraments, baptism and the Lord's Supper. The first, in the Gospel's opening chapter, has Jesus going down to the river to be baptized by his cousin John. John had been going around the countryside telling people that the Messiah was coming, and that they should be baptized in order to prepare for him. This was a version of a common Jewish practice called the mikveh, which was a ritual bathing in order to regain purity. Today, it's one of the most important ways that people convert to Judaism. The second scene is Jesus eating the Passover meal with his disciples in the upper room, where he takes bread and wine and tells them to eat and drink. He tells them it is his body and blood, and he's trying to help them understand what he's about to do for them and for all of us. I know, it's weird to talk about eating a body and drinking blood. It's best not to think too much about it. I like these two scenes because they show us something important about how God makes sure we remember grace. If grace is as big of a deal as we're saying it is, then we need things to help us remember that. Presbyterians talk about baptism and the Lord's Supper as signs and seals of God's grace. Think about a stop sign for a second. The stop sign doesn't just remind us that we have to stop moving, it forces us to stop moving. It plays a big part in our stopping. The same is true for sacraments. They don't just remind us of God's grace, they are the normal way we come into contact with it. But it's not just about reminding us, it's also about making grace real. When we're baptized or receive communion, we can feel the water and taste the bread and wine. In those moments, grace becomes real.
Ask the pastor.
How did we decide what our sacraments were going to be?
We decided because they were things that Jesus did in his life. So he got baptized by John in the Jordan. And he sat at table with his disciples and said, "This is my body, which is for you." And so we said, if Jesus did those things and everybody can do those things, then we'll say these are our sacraments.
Who gets to do them?
Well, different parts of them, different people get to do. So everyone can be baptized, but who does the baptizing is supposed to be a minister of the word and sacrament.
The straight answer is that teaching elders, those who have been, like me, who have been through seminary, through their ordination exams.
Does everyone get to take communion?
In our tradition, anyone who believes in Jesus Christ can take communion.
Does something magical happen when we do them? Sacraments?
Not magical like Harry Potter magical, but something happens in us. The Holy Spirit works in us. So
why do we use bread and wine or juice and not just chips and Mountain Dew?
Well, I think the thing you'd have to ask yourself is, why do you want to use chips and Mountain Dew? And I think that's a moment where we're starting to make it more about us and what we like than about what this whole thing is that we're doing in a sacrament.
Okay. Why do we only baptize one time?
Well, because we believe that if you were baptized in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, and with water, once is enough. Sacraments being an outward sign of something that's already happened to us. We don't need to repeat that sign over and over again.
Now, does it matter how I'm baptized?
There's all different kinds of ways to have someone baptized. It matters that there's water. It matters that it's done in the name of the Father and in the name of the Son and in the name of the Holy Spirit.
So can I take communion at home? Do I have to take it here in church?
Yes.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be here in this particular room. But one of the foundational parts of sacraments for Presbyterians is that they don't happen in an isolated manner.
Sacraments, again, are a communal activity. So we do it in church as a family. If somebody is too sick to come to church, I will go with an elder who represents the whole congregation to take communion. But we don't just do it at home, because then we're not together with the whole family of faith.
Hiya, Gerard. Nice shirt you've got on there today.
What is her deal? She's so mean. Why does she pick on me all the time? What did I ever do to her? Sometimes I wish I could just stuff her in that locker of hers and be done with it. Ugh. Dang it, mean thought. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Gerard, what are you doing?
Oh, hey, Coach Beckwith, I'm, lying on the floor.
Yeah, I can see that, but what are you lying on the floor for?
Well, Coach, it's like this. A couple days ago, I did something pretty bad and was mean to one of my friends. I'm trying to be better, but it's just not working. So I decided that every time I thought of something mean, I'd just lie down on the ground and count to 10. You know, as a way to remember that I need to be better.
Well, I applaud the effort, son. I'm just gonna need you to get up off the floor now.
But I'm not done counting to 10, Coach. You interrupted me at 4. Now I have to start over.
You don't have to do no such thing, and I tell you what, if you lay down like that in my gym class, I'm just gonna tell the whole class to run you over.
Well, that's not a very nice thing to say, Coach. I think you better try laying down and counting to 10. See? Feel better already, don't you?
Yeah, kid, I do. I really do.
Coach Beckwith, what are you doing?
Ma'am, I'm helping this young man with his sit-ups, ma'am.
Okay. Carry on.
The word sacrament comes from the Greek word for mystery. So even the name for these things admits that there's something going on here that we might understand, but it's really something we can't ever really understand. Just like God's grace, we might have an idea, but we're never going to fully get it. What I love about the sacraments is that ordinary things are transformed into extraordinary things. Water, bread, wine, these things aren't weird to us, but when we use them in worship, they become really important. What I really hope for you is that you'll start to see God's grace everywhere because of the sacraments. Whenever you sit down to eat with someone, I hope you recognize that eating with them at that table is not so different from eating at the Lord's table. Whenever you wash your hands or get a glass of water, I hope that it reminds you that God's grace is everywhere, and it's always refreshing. I also think it would be really hilarious if you were at dinner sometime and you just flicked water at people. The grace of Christ be with you! They need reminding, right?
I'm Landon Whitsitt, producer of the Theocademy videos. This confirmation series was made with the help of a lot of great people. You can see all their names right there. We should give them all a hand. They did some magnificent work. We have put the first 5 confirmation videos on YouTube for absolutely free. That is about a third of the entire series. We like to just give away as much content as we possibly can, and you have an opportunity to help us continue doing that. If you want to support The Academy and help make sure that we can continue producing high quality video curriculum for the church, please go to our website and get yourself a copy of the entire series, including study guides, for either a $20 digital download or a $40 DVD set. This is just a one-time cost. You will own the stuff, so please make as many copies of the material as you need for the rest of your life. Also, if you just want to give us a donation, that would be spectacular. You can find links to purchase and donate down in the doobly-doo. For those of you who have already supported The Academy, thank you so much. Seriously, it is a thrill for us to get to come to work every day and do this kind of work. And with your help, we'll be able to continue putting out these kind of high-quality materials for the church for a long, long time. Thanks.